Hello, everybody, and welcome, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Gwen. I have a new junk journal that I just finished, and I wanted to show it to you. I'm going to add this to my other journals that I have on capturedonpaper.com. It's a consumer's site, and I have several journals on there now. But this will be a new one. This is going to be called the Framed Butterfly. There's a little bitty frame. Now I had this frame in my stash. I'm assuming I got this at the dollar bin at Michael's or whatever. And it has two little butterflies. And then I've also covered uh, the covering with Tim Holtz's tissue paper with butterflies on it as well. Now this is a 9 by 12 uh, clasp envelope. I dyed this with shoe polish, shoe polish that I got at Walmart, and I absolutely love the color. I dyed it with the shoe polish, then I covered it with the tissue paper, and then I went back over it with a finish, matte finish sealer to seal it. It's a one signature. It's a 5-hole pamphlet stitch. I covered this spine, as you can see, in black lace. I got the lace at Hobby Lobby. The closure is seam binding, black seam binding that I just wet and crinkled up, whatever. It's attached, it's wrapped, of course, and it's attached with two eyelets, two black eyelets, small ones, one on the front and one on the back. My lighting isn't real good, I apologize. The back is just plain with the tissue paper. I sprayed this with some Lindy Stamp Gang spray that I had. It's a golden spray. I forget the name of it, but it is Lindy Stamp Gang. And then, of course, I dried it with the dryer. So let's go inside. I did a lot of sewing on this one. I normally don't do that. I got a new machine, and so I thought, well, let's try it out. Now the inside is just covered with the paper pad. This is an old paper pad. It's I got it at Hobby Lobby. It's just, I've had it for a long, long time, and I really like this page. So I didn't put a pocket or anything on it, but I did attach, continue on with the black lace that correlates with the lace on the outside. I just got a little rusty pin. Well, it's not rusty, but it's just a safety pin up here at the top for some decoration. Uh, this is a square doily. Now, this is calligraphy paper, parchment paper I get at Hobby Lobby in the art department where they have the inks and the pencils and pens and whatever. So it's not in the crafting department. This is a cut apart that I cut out of the collection. It was just on a page, and I just cut it out, made a pocket of it. I stamped on the back with the corrugated cardboard stamp I've made that everybody, you've seen it, I'm sure. And then I also stamped on, this is, see, the story begins. And the story begins. So I cut this out. It's a little postcard. I also fussy cut out a little butterfly and attached it separately. I made, this is a card. This is a greeting card. I bought a box of them on sale someplace, and I really, because of the bicycle. Now, the bicycle's die cut out, and there's a black piece of paper here that shows up through the die cut of the bicycle, but I did attach it down so it wouldn't flop around. I cut it down. I rounded the edges. So this is a little journaling spot, and I tucked it in here in the pocket. This is just a piece of old sheet music. This is a piece of a cutoff from the coffee dye paper, and it folds over the top over the top to the back side. Excuse me. And then this piece of fabric, it was a long piece of fabric that's stamped with Paris on it. all the way across. I had about a half a yard of it, and it was gifted to me. I bought a book, a journal, and I think it was from a lady in Australia. And I apologize, I'm not real sure. Either that or it was Seneca Coffee uh, Company, and I got just a little Tim Holtz pen up there. So I got a little card here that I made, Tiffany and Company. It's a stamp, and I stamped it. And I made a whole bunch of these little cards and stamped it with and I just got that in there. It's a belly band, of course. And then when you turn over, it wraps around. So it's on the back side as well. And oh dear, I think I glued this. Oh dear, I did. This, oh, I almost dropped it. This is a tag that I made, and then I embossed it. And this is just a little book, and I sewed on this little book, folded it in half, and you can journal on it. And I did put a little butterfly on there as well. So this slips in the back belly band. So there are two, and this got a little charm on it, a little Timmy Holtz charm. What does it say? It says believe. I love these little charms. And that slides in there as well. This is a out of an old book that I had. Uh, no, I take that back. It was I bought some old pages from a gal, and it might have been Sagita. I'm not sure. This is if you don't know, and I had this in high school. It's shorthand, and this is from Greg Speed Building for Colleges. And then I also put a butterfly on there as well. Turn the page, and of course you can see I sewed that on the page. This is plain. I got a lot of plain pages in here as well. This is cotton lace. It's about, I don't know, 2.5, 3-inch lace, which I think lends itself to the style of the book. And I made a tuck spot. Now, I sewed it on as well. It's sewed on. Uh, I kind of secure that with a paper clip because they kind of slide out. This is just coffee dyed. All the paper is coffee dyed. This is just a coffee dyed tag, and it just has a garment pin on it. This is just a tag I made from the paper. And this is just an old book, and I think it's in, no, it's not. I thought it was in German. And I sewed around it, and because it's so fragile, I couldn't make a pocket. I did just sew a little piece of the I'm going to drop some of this parchment paper, which could be used as a little tuck spot. So I've slid these into the lace pocket here on the side. It's all the way in. And I've secured it with the paper clips simply because they do have a tendency to want to fall out sometimes. Turn the page. I made another pocket. This is out of a file card, which is coffee dyed. I put the paper clip on just for adornment. This says, just flying by to say hi. This is another tag that I made, and I embossed it. Has another Timmy. This says imagine. This is a little book, and I found this ship, boat, whatever. I think this was, they were coming over. I mean, I think this is, back in the 20s and 30s and whatever. So I cut it out. This is a plain non printed type file card. It's a file card without lines. Folded it in half and made a little book out of it. Now these are just cut-offs. These are just as from a journal. I mean, from a grid paper that you could slip something in there. This one, and they're sewn all the way around. This just opens up where you could journal inside. I've left the strings on. If whoever ends up with this doesn't like the strings, they can just cut them off. I don't know. I think they look kind of clever, but they can be removed. This is another pocket that I made. It says happiness is a journey, not a destination. This is a pocket in the back. Let me do it this way. There is a pocket in the back, where this comes together. So there's a pocket here and a pocket here. So there's two pockets here. There's a pocket here, and now this is secured with a Timmy Holtz paper clip, and you open this up, and this is a pocket. I made this and I sewed it all the way around onto this, and then I glued it onto the page. This is an old book page that I use. This is calligraphy paper that I stamped. I've got a French script stamp, and I stamped it and put a grommet in it, and then put a safety pin. Love the safety pin. So this, where does this go? This goes down here like so. Tiffany goes in here like so, and then the little, what else? I thought I had another, what did I do with it? Did I have another card? I guess not. Okay. So the next page is, this is a Rita Downey design, the little corner flip that everybody's using it, but she did design it, I didn't. And it makes a little tuck spot. I got a new stamp. I got a new balloon stamp I love. Just a blank little black tag to tie in the blank that fits down here. And then this is just a cut off. And I just folded it and rounded the corners and stained it to write on as well. Now this is an antique, and I really apologize. This might be Sagita's. I bought some things that came in the package, and this covered the top of the sack. This is really a pretty doily and stained nicely. This is just an old page book. There I stamped it with the little balloon stamp. Another doily, square doily, and calligraphy paper. This is plain. Now this is the center of her signature. And on both sides of this, I stamped where you could journal, and I stamped with a decorative stamp. And then down here, I got art washes away from the soul, the dust of everyday life, was said by Picasso. This is, I bought a whole package of old book pages and whatever. And this is a German page out of an old German book. It's quite small, but I put that in the center, and then here are my ties, and I just attached two little paper ends. I don't know what to call them. A little girl started, not a little girl, a gal started doing this with hearts and calling it hearts on a string. So these are just paper embellishments on a string in the center. And then we turn the page, and we have now the back page, it's virtually the same. Here's another part of the book that I had on the front and the back part with the doily. Now this is a legal page. The front of it was back there. Legal pages are 8.5 by 14, opposed to standard size pages, which are 8.5 by 11. I use one or two in each one of them now, because I can fold over the extra on the end and make a nice flap. I sewed on, and I've also got a clip, I sewed on the trim, made a pocket, sewed on the trim, I glued it down, and sewed on two different types of lace, and they're both cotton lace. I do think cotton lace lends itself to the antique type book. I made this out of calligraphy paper, and it's an envelope. It has nothing in it right now, but it's an envelope. I made the flower. I stamped coffee dyed paper with the French script stamp. Got a little button and some twine, and then some, not gauze, but it's like gauze behind it for effect. This is just part of I stamped this, and I said, wishing you all things fabulous, with a safety pin. This is a coffee dyed file card with lines, which most of them's washed off, and I just cut it down, and I grunched it around the edges with my tool. And you can journal on the back, but I just thought it came out real clever. Let's see, let's do this. So this is a nice little pocket. Now I have, as I say, to keep them, and of course sometimes when they're heavy, they'll fall out. So I've secured them with this little clip, and I think it's Tim Holtz. I'm not real sure. I left a lot plain as well. This is plain. Now this is of course another paper clip. This is a cotton. It's not lace. It's just a piece of frayed cotton that comes on a roll. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I made this coin envelope. It's a coin envelope. I stamped it across the bottom, nothing on the back. The top, I sewed on this lace, and it's sewn on. And you can put whatever in there. So I secured the top because it's kind of fun. And there again, I left the strings if you don't like the strings, so you can take them off. Oh, I think I just lost my. Oh, there it is. Well, that was lucky. This teensy weensy little thing. Okay, I secured that with a little paper clip, put it in the belly band, and then there again, I secured this. Is kind of heavy with a paper clip. Another piece of sheet music, and here's another pocket that I made. This is out of an old book. This is a French book. I have an old French book that I bought. I don't like using English books because I've been doing some gutting of some old distress books and making, redoing it, and they're all virtually in English. You got to be careful because I don't read the whole book prior to doing it. But this is in French, so if you can read French and there's anything in here that's obscene, then I'm sorry. So this is a pocket I made, and I just glued it on. It's not sewn on. This is a little book that I made, and it's hand sewn. It has a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, and it's for Jen. And and the story begins, and I stamped lines. Nothing here is plain. Here's some lines to journal on. It says, and until you spread your wings, you have no idea how far you can fly. I love that. And then here's just a cameo type stamp. And this is just a little book that I made out of the file cards that don't have lines on them. I stamped it here, and then I just gathered up some of that. This is not sorry ribbon. It's just like they just tore off strips of muslin and just stamped on it. I love it. I just love it, and I used it all. And so I just gathered it here on the little booklet. I did sew it all on. Here's a string, and you could journal on the inside. And this is I don't know. I just loved it. I found this in my things, and it may have come out of Tim Holtz's Finding Friends or Family. And I stamped on the back so you can journal, and then, of course, I put a butterfly on there. So that goes behind this pocket, like so. I don't know. My grandmother, I remember when I'd go to grandma's, she had huge oval domed glass photos of family, antique, antique. This goes in here. I wished I had them. I don't know what ever happened to them, but they were huge. They hung on the wall. But that kind of reminded me of that. And this is just plain. This is stamped with the corrugated stamp with a little bird. This is plain and plain. Now this there again is another piece of that fabric that's stamped. As I say, this is just a tag, and I sewed on the lace with a little bird, and and I got to put it in here. It just tucks in the tuck spot, but because this tuck spot is not heavy, I there again put another paper clip. Line paper to journal on. Here's another piece of music, and here's a little butterfly I put on there as well. Now it's not the last page, kind of. This has, oh dear, I had to count. Let's see. I think it has, let's see, 60 some pages or more. I'll have to count, and I'll post it. This is another legal size page with another paper clip with a tuck spot. This is just a cut off that just opens up, that, and it's coffee stains you can journal on. This is just a tag that I made out of the paper line, and then I made a little, I tacked on a little a pull made out of the calligraphy paper, and then I there again put it down with the paper clip, because as I say, they do fall out. Besides the paper clips I like. This is the last page per se. Now when I count the pages, I count the die cut pages, the full pages, but I also count these. These are a page as well. You could journal on these or whatever. And then it's the calligraphy, and then the back I've also carried through. It's just not enough room to tuck, but I've also carried through the lace on the back. Down here is my G with my handmade stamp. The back, as I say, is just plain. Just plain. I love the color. The color, it's shoe polish. It is it's brown, B-R-U, brun, bound brun or something. It is Kaiwai or what? I haven't bought shoe polish for 100 years. Well, there it is. Excuse me, and I really like the way it come out. So there it is. I'm going to have this in my collection on capturedonpaper.com. As I say, I have about 8 or 10 others. I've sold several, but I have several others on there as well. I've been trying to do a YouTube video like this, and when I post, there we are. So if people is interested, they can come back and they can watch this flip through. And oh dear, what have I done? They can watch this flip through, and I thought I'd accidentally shut it off. Watch the flip through and see if they're interested. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it and even got some inspiration out of it. If you are interested in it, it will be available on capturedonpaper.com. My name is Gwen. If you go through the headings on the top, there's for the books and the minis and what. Go into the new items and flip through the whole thing and find them. But when you put them on, they put them on in a certain class, and I'm in the books and the minis and the whatever. So there again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I'll answer them as soon as possible. Or you can email me at gcastile@comcast.net, and I appreciate it very much. So I will be seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.